Hello, this is Kyle Matthews of the Montreal Institute for Genocide and Human Rights Studies. We're here today for another important interview for the Coronavirus Diaries, discussions on human rights during a global pandemic. Very lucky to have a well-known international human rights advocate, Masih Alinejad. Masih, everyone knows about you in Canada. They know that you're fighting a regime that is terrible for women's rights, but you're also not just women's rights, but wider issues of freedom, democracy. So Masih, could you please tell us about what is the situation of human rights in Iran right now during the coronavirus?
I have to say that right now, people are suffering from two different kinds of viruses. First, we are suffering from coronavirus. But second and most important than this, the people inside Iran are suffering from a more deadly virus, which is called the Islamic Republic of Iran. And why I'm saying that? Because there is no transparency. There is no effort from the government to accept international help. They kicked out the Doctors Without Borders, and they reject the help from the American government. And most important than this, they lied about coronavirus, and they arrested the critical journalists and activists who were actually peacefully criticizing the mismanagement of coronavirus. And that is why people are very concerned, especially that we see that in 7 cities across Iran, prisoners are protesting and getting killed because they're worried about coronavirus entered to prison and they want to escape from prison. So that is why human rights abuse right now, it's the biggest concern in Iran while people are dying because of coronavirus.
So, Masih, I have a question. There's been a big discussion in which the authorities have created a narrative that they can't really fight the coronavirus because of American sanctions. Others have said that the Iranian government, the theocracy, is putting money towards unuseful things that aren't in the public interest or for public health, wars abroad, money into religious institutions. What should we make of all this? Is that true or is it false?
Look, this is obvious that sanction hurts people. Nobody denied that. But the government in Iran, the regime, people are dying during coronavirus time because of sanction. I have to say, as a journalist, I've done an investigative journalism, and I found 10 documents which shows you that the government in Iran hid coronavirus for 1 month because of the anniversary of the Islamic Republic, because of the election, and that was the reason. The second thing was that they didn't stop the flight to China while they knew about it. The third document that everybody knows about it in Iran, that they limited the meeting with the supreme leader, the Ayatollah in Iran. One of the famous conservative guy actually came on his own Instagram and saying that we were banned from kissing the hands of Ali Khamenei. Why? Because to protect his health. And that was the night that Ali Khamenei came on TV and said that he denied coronavirus entering Iran, and he said this is a tactic from our enemy because they don't want a big turnout during the election. So you see, that was the third document, which shows you that they hid coronavirus and they are responsible of killing people. And another thing is, I mean, this is unbelievable. When journalists and activists from Sanandaj and from north of Iran, they actually announced that by using their cameras, saying that they have been witnessing corona, people who are suffering from corona in their cities, Sanandaj and north of Iran, both of them got arrested and they are right now in prison. 5 documents, they kicked out a worker who worked for hotel, who announced that before the election that in the 5th floor of the same hotel in Tehran, he's found a Chinese guy was suffering from coronavirus. Guess what happened? That guy got kicked out from hotel. And that actually, you know, there are more than this. Well, you can prove that they were lying. But what breaks our heart, that Zarif and Rouhani and some of their supporters in Canada, who lives in Toronto, in New York, they trying to mislead the rest of the world and putting the blame on sanction, which I want to tell you right now, there are so many videos that our leaders saying that although we were suffering from sanction, this is what Hassan Rouhani said, but we managed to send money to Iraq. Can you believe that? There is a video of Hassan Rouhani saying that. Another video of Jawad Zarif saying that I am proud that my people are suffering because of Lebanon, because of people in Palestine. So there is another video of Hassan Nasrallah from Hezbollah saying that if the Islamic Republic doesn't have money, then we are out of money, thanks to Islamic Republic during sanction. And another reason that I want to tell you that, yes, people are suffering from sanction, but this is not the reason. This is the behavior of the Islamic Republic, because when they get the money, they spend the money for the terrorism in the region. And another proof, just this year, you won't believe me because this is unbelievable. This year, yes, we were suffering from sanction, but the budget of the religious institutions in Iran, guess what happened?
They went up?
Yes. I mean, nobody believed that. There are two websites from the children of Ayatollah Khomeini and Ayatollah Khamenei, as they call them. They are running two websites and two institutions. They even raised their budget this year. And while people were suffering from sanction, while you're making a campaign around the world, why don't you use this money? There is another video of the spokesman in Iranian parliament, Larijani, who's now suffering from corona, admitting that this year they raised the budget of the Revolutionary Guard. So to make long story short, I have spoken with the father of Puya Bakhtiari, who got killed during Iran protests. I just wanted to update myself and get some ideas and opinions from people inside Iran, because I was under attack by Rouhani and Zarif supporters in Nayak, in Canadian Journal Council. I don't know even their name. So these are actually the supporters of the Islamic Republic, attacking me, bullying me, that you are saying that you're saying that in this time they shouldn't give money to the regime. I said, not me. I'm going and asking every individual person in Iran. You don't want to hear them. So it's better to hear both sides. I spoke with the father of Puya Bakhtiari. He told me that if the international community want to help, they have to ask the World Health Organization to supervise and intervene directly. Otherwise, they don't trust the regime, because the regime get the money and send it to Syria, to Bashar Assad, to Hezbollah, or give it to Revolutionary Guard to kill more people. So he said that in this time, we don't trust the government in Iran, the regime in Iran, and they are using the number of deaths. They don't want to actually deal with coronavirus inside Iran, because they use this crisis to get money, cash from the West. Our government says that because of sanction, we cannot help people who are suffering from coronavirus. This is a big lie. Why? Because people were asking actually the government of Iran to shut down the religious centers. They didn't. So is that because of sanction? No. And people were begging the Islamic Republic to quarantine Qom, which was the epicenter of coronavirus. They didn't. Was that because of sanction? People were begging, crying, that why you do not stop the flight to China. Was that because of sanction? People are begging right now, actually, to get the political prisoners free because of coronavirus, and they deny it. People have no way to access to prison, and that's why, when the government put the blame on America, a lot of people say that, okay, right now when you ask the US to lift up the sanction, then why don't you release your prisoners? Then why don't you actually, people are not allowed to go to social media because of filtering. The government do not want to lift filtering right now. But now they're asking the US to give them cash. And that actually hurts Iranian people, the hypocrisy of the Islamic Republic.
Wow. So maybe one last question, because you've been very generous with your time. There's been a rise of misinformation and conspiracy theories, and I've noticed that the Iranian authorities are playing similar to Russia and China, trying to say that the US is behind this, trying to say that with no scientific evidence, no documentation, they're making these claims. Does the average Iranian believe this, or is the hardship so difficult that they're succumbing to state propaganda? Well, what does the average person think about these lies or disinformation campaigns?
Look, the average Iranians are actually mocking the clerics in Iran. There is a huge gap between the young generation inside Iran and the decision makers, the policy makers, the politicians. The only group that actually supporting the Islamic Republic are some I don't know how to name that, but some of the educated people in the US, educated people in Canada, they are supporting the Islamic Republic, and they're selling their narrative to New York Times, to Washington Post, to different media in Canada. But people inside Iran, they're mocking the clerics because they're saying that this virus was made by American government. And this is how, the Chinese government used this state propaganda. But while actually we're mocking them, we are laughing at them, people are dying. And while the government and their supporters outside Iran putting the blame on the US, they're rejecting all the helps offered by the US government. And the supreme leader of Iran actually said that we rejected that because they might come and spy us. They rejected, the Doctors Without Borders. They call them spies. And what they do, they arrest people inside Iran if they say what I'm saying right now to you. And it's not even safe for me saying that, because they arrested my brother to punish me, to keep me silent. So what breaks my heart is that nobody buy the narrative of the Islamic Republic in Iran. And that is why people took to the street and chanting in the street against the clerics, against the Islamic Republic. There were actually no slogan against sanction, no slogan against America. Yes, some of the people were supporting Iran deal, but after the deal, they haven't seen the benefit of the deal. They saw that the same government was sending their relatives, their children to the US to live there, to go to school there. And now they're saying that, any journalists who are criticizing them, they say that you're paid by the US. And they put people in jail if they criticize them. These government actually, they don't care about the lives of the people. What they care, they want to get cash from the West. What Iranian people want, they have a dream. They want to get rid of coronavirus and the religious dictatorship virus. And that is why they're calling the whole world to pay attention. This is not the time to help the regime. This is the right time to help the people inside Iran. And directly, we call, the health organization. I mean, it's not me, the people inside Iran, the nurses, the doctors. They want the rest of the world, the international community, in directly helping the people inside Iran, not handing out money and cash to the regime.
Masih, you gave us such a detailed description of what's happening to the people in Iran, the struggles of both the coronavirus and the virus of the authoritarian government. I wish you the best of luck in your important work and advocacy for human rights, and I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.